for coming. Let's open the curtains. For my senior project, I decided to make a movie adaptation of a story which I had written in 8th grade. I have always been fascinated with the art of creating stories. As a child, I would make up different adventures for my wooden trains to participate in. What? As I was saying, in my teenage years, I have found the potential to write down stories and hope that someday I could present to the world what I would create. In 8th grade, I started what would become a series of fictional stories involving my classmates and myself. Back then, I was in an argument with some girls over the existence of fairies and mermaids. I was on the antagonistic side. One day, it hit me that I could create a book inspired by this quarrel. The idea developed, and I ended up creating my first 2 stories, Leela and the Fairies and Vita and the Mermaids. At the time, I also wanted to adapt the stories into movies, as I felt they had potential as motion pictures. The senior projects have finally enabled me the chance to achieve this dream after 3 years of full schedules and lengthy homework assignments. I chose to adapt. Come on, guys, I don't have all day. Anyway, I chose to adapt Vita and the Mermaids, as it was one of the first stories I wrote back in 8th grade, and it had a strong plot and promising results. The movie consists of animated people imported into the world of model trains and real places. Initially, when I got the idea of film adaptation, I had wanted to film real people playing their respective roles, but some students left the school and were unable to participate. So I made the decisions to make the humans hand-drawn, as animation would technically be my drawings brought to life. Oh. Now, back up. Anyway, adapting the storyline from script form adapting a storyline to script form was a cinch for me. It's basically taking the text written from the story, translating some of it into narration and scene descriptions, and setting the dialogue to the parts of each character. There were also a few changes to the story, such as revisions and additions, but I won't go too much into detail. The next step was storyboarding. Storyboarding is when you visualize the action that the script describes. In other words, drawing the scene, but without any motion. I originally thought I could do without a storyboard, but my mentor explained to me that a storyboard was vital to format the details of the film, such as how long it would go. I originally thought I kept the storyboard visualized in my head. Of course, one of the more important elements in the story is the location. The places featured in my senior project were made using photographs and sets. I had to construct the sets from the railway trains to run on, with the help of my dad. Set building was a lot of fun. The buildings I used were imported kits from the UK, and they were all made of cards, so they were easy to construct and also easy to carry and move about. The landscape was created on a wooden base using plaster to create the topography, green powder for the grass, Small gravel for ballast and a combination of grass tufts and fake trees brought the sets to life. The hardest part was planning the track layout and laying it down. But once I had everything down, I was able to film the shots I needed for the train scenes. The real challenge for this project was animating. I had to first draw the character template, scan it, and then color it in. There were a number of characters, and it took me some time to complete all of them.
You mean it took you a long time to complete one of them?
What the?
Hello, everyone. As I was saying, Ormond, you knew how much time you had to create your characters, but you took ages with Sophia E.
It wasn't ages. I had to make her look like her real-life counterpart. I had all of work to do.
But concerning details, you went easy on yourself.
I don't mind how I look. I just wanted to make sure everyone would look distinguishable. I was just thought I didn't have to draw a template for you.
You wouldn't have the time to do so anyway, considering you enjoy spending all hours drawing a couple of hot teenage girls.
Don't mind him, folks. He's just being cheeky.
Whatever you say.
Anyway, I think you get the gist of the character design from a certain little blue puffball. Can someone cover that up? Thanks. My next step was learning how to master this software that enabled the character to move about. My mentor and I went over the software trying to figure out the most efficient way to bring the characters to life. We decided to make the human characters into cutout puppets. Cutout puppets are like a puzzle. You can disassemble them and put them together. By doing this, I was able to create a motion rigging skeleton for each of the characters. Of course, like all two-dimensional film projects, the motion of the character has to be made in a timeline, one frame at a time. But with the computer software, the characters have pivotal points for each part of the figure, which makes amateur 2D film projects easy to work with. Not only did the characters have to move, but they also had to speak and interact with other people. Luckily, I had another software which can take an image of a person, create a facial rigging, and animate mouth movements in sync with the audio. My mentor and I figured that the easiest way to accomplish this project was to have the people static as they talk and move when not communicating. I'll just show you an example here. No, wait! Come back! Come back! Come back! No, wait. Go back! Can someone up there click on the image of the two girls? Working on it. Anyway, you'll see in this example here.
Thomas, do you have mermaids on Sodor?
Right then.
Wow.
Once the characters came to life, I put them into the realm of location. I erased the paper backdrops from behind the characters so that I could place them seamlessly onto the footage of the island of Sodor. And now, I will show you a clip of what I have worked on. Dim down the lights.
Whoa, that was amazing. I got to say, that was the most fun I've had, Dum Dum.
Hey, look, there's Thomas.
Oh, hello girls. What are you doing here? And where's Armand?
We went to see you, Thomas.
Don't worry about Armand. He'll soon be here.
Right. Anyway, what do you girls want? I'm busy at the moment.
Thomas, do you have mermaids on Sodor?
What's a mermaid?
You've never heard of a mermaid?
Should I have? They're not like the twinkled, fairies, are they?
They're more pretty than fairies. They are half human, half fish. They're humans with fishtails.
Poof! They must smell horrible then.
Thomas!
What? Is it my fault that fish smell? You should ride the flying kipper. It's really horrible.
Mermaids don't smell.
Have you ever actually seen one?
On the telly and in movies.
Aside from that.
Well, not really.
'Cause if you didn't, then I refuse to believe that they exist as much as I did with those twinkle fairies.
You're as bad as Armand, if not worse.
Talking of whom, where is he?
Let me just tell you that traveling between dimensions is not an easy thing to do. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done to complete the story, but I hope to have the film finished this year. And now, I'd like to give my appreciation to everyone who has helped me in the making of this project. I'd like to thank Alan Lai, who was my mentor for animation, Shayla Crane, who was the production manager, Silka Jackson, who was the organization manager, my parents and relatives for helping me get the necessary props and equipment and helping me construct the sets, my classmates for their support and contributions for vocal and creative elements, the August Spec 9th grade girls for their support and contributions for vocal elements, and there are some students who are not in the class anymore, but I would like to give my thanks to Addie Cooperman, Brielle Oshon, and Sophia Eve Eunice for their support and creative contributions for the original storybook. And I'd especially like to thank Leela Mae Jacobs and Vita Tart Joseph for their support and vocal and creative contributions and for being an inspiration for the original story.